Well, they're screaming. They followed me clear to Maslin again today. It's ridiculous what's going on down here. Today I was in Whipple. Today is 12/23/21 on Dollar General in Whipple. At 3:39 p.m. I check out. There's a blonde lady there that I've seen several times, but I haven't talked to her. Okay. Then there's a dark hair guy with glasses. Okay. There's other people following me around that store. I go to check out. One lady says to a guy right by the register, I don't care what they say about her. I'm getting ready to take care of this today. And he said, well, I taped her before. And she said, good, I can take care of her. I never met him. How could he tape me? He admitted to drug and kidnap me. They were talking about me saying stuff and all kinds of stuff. Well, I turned it into the Stark County Sheriff and the Maslin Police. Okay? Well, I have a timestamp photo of my backyard. I had took a picture of my beautiful backwoods, July 1st, 2018, of a deer in the backyard. I was scanning through it like a month ago. There's a man with glasses staring at me in my backwoods, within 200 feet of the house. Now, how can that man tape me if I've never met him, admitting to anything, when I didn't talk to anybody? He's a black and blue mark then. He's admitting to kidnapping Amy. And because they sold the locket, I went to leave. People are screaming she's going to turn him in for kidnapping her. Yeah, my client complained yesterday. I'm tired of these people driving by screaming stuff at us. I did turn him in. My one friend is a prosecutor. He talked to the FBI. They said they scanned at my information. They know what's going on here. It is a police matter for them to handle it. If they don't want to handle it, they will just call them to come down and take care of it. These people, you cannot set up surveillance cameras and watch someone unless you are police and hire significant investigation without a conflict of interest. They do not give it to attorney friend. The law states that attorneys can only tape you out in public. Okay? Seth and I, my old attorney, can't go in and set up cameras and watch Dave, and he tried to kill me. No, it has to be police and hire significant investigation. I was downtown Canton. Okay? Then right off of it, some idiot yelled out, the police did it to you before. Well, the police never came talk to me up there. Ever. The way it works is if somebody accuses you of something, they come out and see if there is a probable cause. Then they talk to your witnesses to start an investigation. Then they turn it into the prosecutor. And the prosecutor takes it to a judge. Okay? That's how investigations work. Right? They can only set up tiny cameras in murder, drugs, espionage, something really bad. They can't be bathroom, bedrooms, nudes, and no conflict of interest. And they don't share. What's wrong with everything? Judge Pete and his rogue officers doing this, they can't say a word to me the rest of my life. They can't. I went under Portage County court records. There was nothing under my name. They bragged June of 19 in front of the North Canton or Jackson police, a guy in the suit in the back, that they made up an investigation to watch me. That's why nobody came talk to me. They can't just go in and set up tiny cameras and watch you. Because even like March 2nd to the 3rd, they were putting two clips together and make a porn. Okay? Because it can be altered. I didn't have cameras in my home. I had 3 security cameras outside. To the front steps, the back steps, and the side yard. And that's it. 2 smoke detectors and 2 motion detectors. Nothing else. So where would you get a tape? Yeah. You're a black and blue mark and a kidnapper and drugger. You can't even look like the officer from Louisville. We can't. Don't worry about it. They had no right in your home, and they can never say a word to you. It's a conflict of interest. They had no right in your home. They would have had to went to the FBI. Yeah, no police up there came talk to me about anything dirty. I haven't. So where were they taking me? And what were they doing in my home without talking to me? At least find out if there's a probable cause. They can't do it because, like Michelle's mother bragged, it's my daughter. Her husband dates. Michelle's mother bragged at Memorial Day weekend 2019. Food counter, a white woman, African American man. For it's my daughter her husband dates. He met her in Ravenna when she was having a stomach spell. It's for my daughter they did all this for, and our family down here watching her doing this. And for who's Karen's rich boyfriend, but the state of Ohio protects her, mocking me for having a protection order over me. The legal department's helping me. Okay? Judge Pete. Yeah. I only know his name because on 9/18/19 I go in for my divorce. And there's a picture of a guy that looks like a 1930 barber, like a thin Santa Claus, up on the wall. It said Peter something. Okay? I don't know. I've never talked to him. And they can't, with a conflict of interest, write a court order, and there was none filed. And they can't go to a different county to get it. They would have went to the FBI for a conflict of interest charges. It's a 10-year sentence, $1 million fine. There was 5 judges on the internet that had people raped, framed, 41 people. They went to jail 6 to 20 years. It's highly illegal. Even conflict of interest charges, 139 judges refused to excuse themselves for friends and family. And they got one of those other 2 sentences. They got disbarred. You cannot involve yourself with anything with a conflict of interest. And they sure as heck can't get it out of another county. No. And you can't. Some guy, big heavyset white guy, came in Walmart when it first started. I asked Dave if he knew anything about these people threatening her, and he better not put his hands on her. They asked him. They had to see he could lie to them. But they had to see if there's a probable cause. The guys did not show up. Now, I talked to Will September 27th, 18, when it started. The 28th, these guys showed up when I left the house. So, yeah, there was no investigation. And the only kind of investigation they can tape you on where your house is drugs, murder, espionage, something really bad. No bathroom, no bedrooms, no nudes, and they don't share. They cannot just stalk you in your home, drug you, Photoshop you because your ex was dating a judgy daughter, trying to help him get everything and frame you to get away with premeditated murder if you didn't die and get you in trouble. It doesn't work this way. You go to jail for everything. Some lady I stopped at a speedway in Perry. I went out driving around tonight and came in and said, we already know what they did. Some other people were in there. That attorney said to stop following around. They can't hire people to follow me around. It's stalking. You can't interfere in somebody's life. You can't. You have no right. It's stalking. Melissa's kids, because everybody's house was bugged and it was an investigation, state and federal, did catch Melissa telling the kids to lie. And then, on top of it, they got caught Thanksgiving of 18 that they were making everything up. They did interview my whole family back then. Yesterday in Walgreens in Maslin on Wales Road, the old ladies that have watched me before were laughing. They really did speak highly of her. Back in 18 when I was with Dave, interviewed my whole family. And they spoke very highly of me. June 23rd, I'm buying paint at Walmart, 62. Okay? I did it right before and after also. There'll be 2 investigators been following me around for years. Okay? They'll say, what are these people talking about? We interviewed her whole family a long time ago. She never hurt anyone. Back by the paint, there'll be a bunch of women the next aisle. Oh my goodness, the boys had to drug her to make her say that stuff. Nobody mentions those tapes. You cannot, and then they lie to people. We use true serum. We use sodium pentothal. No, you didn't. And if you did, it's a lethal injection. If you Google false confession sodium pentothal, questioner gets what it wants. Right or wrong, you say yes to everything. Lie down the board. Legal sodium pentothal, FDA prohibits any use in humans and not to be brought in the United States. Lethal sodium pentothal is used in anthrax and lethal injections. They're not going to give you a lethal injection to make you say yes to everything. And they don't drug anybody because the fifth. You want to admit that you're a drugger and kidnapper? You want to admit you stalked me in my home? You illegally surveillanced me? You had no right. And like the officer said, they had no right and they could not one thing before the FBI. When I talked to Will in the Canton branch, not one thing. They can't look, they can't listen. And those police could not even be involved in any of this for conflict of interest. And they're all running around. They did all this because he liked his girlfriend better. October 5th, they were yelling it out at McDonald's in Belden. They were down here from Ravenna following me around in Louisville. I was telling the Louisville officer that. He said they weren't allowed in our town. We didn't know they were here. They're Ravenna police. I'm Louisville police. The jurisdiction is Ravenna. Okay? They have no right down here. It's a whole different county. They followed me into Massillon. They're that corrupt. Now I'm going to make this real short tonight. Someone needs to get these people, they're bragging in front of tape and audio that they drugged me and told me to say something stupid. They're part of the extortion group. Like I said, December 9th, I was at Hunger Task Force in Canton, tape and audio. A bald man had watched me in the beginning of the case. He came out and said it makes my stomach turn to see her in a place like this. We always knew those tapes before were them, not her, so we never said anything to her. December 9th of 21 this year, too, when I went to leave my client's house at 4 p.m., I had reported that Ed for saying something about tape before, talking dirty about me and being nice to my face. So he's on the phone with someone, his head's away from me. He's like, what, those tapes before were them, not her? Wow, what's going on? It's a group of men doing as many crimes as they can to see if someone will actually stop them. Well, a few days later, older African-American man that lives in the apartment building, works with him at times, or hangs around him, comes up, and those people are driving by, my whole body's shaking, okay? And he said, I found out what's going on, and none of this is funny. She's scared to death of them. He said, I know, I already told him that someone told me those tapes before were them, not her, and it's a bunch of men doing crimes. Okay? And when I was in Walgreens yesterday, that guy's like, I always knew they made everything up and blah, 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 blah. All these people knew they did this to me before, and where I thought I had bruises from moving wood, it was from them drugging me. It's not funny. And then they were photoshopping me, and they run around like they're going to get money out of this. It's not funny. None of this is funny. And being stalked and followed and harassed. And they act like they can get me in trouble. Do you know the FBI can't even set up surveillance unless it's placed and hired like them, the FBI, in a significant investigation like drugs, murder, has to be something super bad because it'll get thrown out without a conflict of interest. And with those girls being connected to those courthouses. Yeah. They could never say a word. They couldn't even be part of this case, and they did. Yeah. Because it's a conflict of interest, and they all can go to jail. Like they said, if the police don't want to handle this, they just call them. They'll take care of it. They already know what's going on down here. And like Walter, my one prosecutor friend, he He said, Karen, your notes is as good as an investigator that does it for the courthouse and turns it in, time, date, stamps, where to find him. Well, at the Canton branch of the FBI told me trust no man. I don't. I know. But I do need a miracle, someone to help me. Now, the neurochip, 12/21/18, stabbed in the neck at the refrigerator. Okay. Abducted, big dent. My skull is huge. Okay. And it's caved in. They do use it for the medical field in Cleveland Clinic for paralyzed patients. They can run computers. They can run video games with their eyes. They can. They can communicate with people. Okay. They're very real. It's an illegal strategy for the truth to use on people. Our government recognizes it as illegal, and it's illegal surgery. They admitted that the agency did it. 313-21 at Altman Hospital to Dr. Alatantinez and some ambassador neurochemist said he already knew. Mercy Medical, there's CT evidence that cut the wires to crack. You can actually see it. It does come up government chip. My prosecutor friend said that he talked to the FBI. They said it was a different agency that didn't chip me, but they cannot confirm or deny who did it. It is illegal. I don't care who did it. I want it out. None of this is funny, and these people all do need to go to jail for this. Like that young girl said in Walgreens, these people need to go to jail for all this. They do. And it's going to take somebody with integrity that actually want to do their job. I put another thing in the Department of Justice last night on nobody helping me. They're all going to get in trouble. If they don't want to do their job, just give it to the FBI. They'll just come down and arrest all these people. Because it's already documented. I never hurt anyone. And you can't enter anything before September 27th of 18 when the state and federal took over. And real investigations, not your made up crap for the blonde girl and the whore in the store of Ravenna. And the Lauren and the big boob girl and the dark hair girl all connected to that courthouse. It's illegal surveillance. And then they Photoshop me, brag they Photoshop me. It's not funny. Where they ran around last year in Giant Eagle in town between November and January. It's so funny. She doesn't know what's going on. A whole group of them from Ravenna. It's so funny. No, it's not. You know, I was getting ready to turn them in. Oh, what was it? November of last year. And there's a man and lady they've been watching me. They almost got away with it till they started bragging. There's a group of women from Ravenna in the back by the lunch meat counter in Giant Eagle in Louisville. And they're talking, well, what about Dave in the gunshot night? Older guy looks at him and says, you know, he really did it. We're on pretty close to the 3rd anniversary. It's either today or tomorrow. They did it. It's right before Christmas. Okay? It's been 3 years. He's still not in jail. And on a real police investigation that started September 27th, 18, the house was bugged and they caught him outside stating how they killed those people. They bragged at Walmart, registered 2 African American guys with dreadlocks. We stayed out the gunshot night because Dave's girlfriend's prettier and the guy running it didn't blame him. Old white guy at Wood Forest, gray hair, mustache, and a group of people mocking me too. They said none of this is funny. They're dead. And with that big fire and those men not coming back, and then that Asian lady's October 5th at Macy's, leaning into the older Asian couple. She had already said something about her happened to her husband in Metzger's Park, and I went to tournament in 19. She was leaning in at the clone counter on October 5th when I walked by. They'd still have the tape. And saying, I told these people to stop saying stuff to her. She's trying to get us out. Well, I tried in 19 and they raped and tortured me and warned me to stay quiet between July and September 19. Beat the hell out of me. So, yeah. And I told you that guy claiming he was an agent followed me to Macy's and then to Faith Family Church and threatened to arrest me in front of my church. And 1,000 people called me a whore and all kinds of names. And the guy in my church, he was white with black hair, young guy. One of the ushers, what you did was considered rape. You leave her alone. And starts yelling about Dave. And then at Shine Salon on Hills and Dales Road, they had women in there who were to watch her. Some acid raped her. Okay. And then 8:18, 4:40, 2 p.m., an agent was seen raping her with a stalker. She can have anything she wants. FedEx 27, 21 at 3:05 p.m. Go a few minutes before. There'll be 2 African American men. Uh, the agent raped her because she didn't call 911 on the gunshot night. He was mad at her. They're not mad at Dave caught on tape and audio that he had him killed or that agent's break-in. They stayed out of it for that bloody whore in the store, Ravenna. They were talking about a man named Cameron dying around me and a man named being crippled. A crippled guy showed up down here and said something to me. And then that lady said something happened to her husband. And I went to turn him in. And they raped and tortured me and warned me to stay quiet. So none of this is funny. It's a freaking Purge movie at my expense. And they sold the login to a real state and federal investigation. They talk about it in Walmart. And then, like, Faith Family Church has it, Hartville gas station, Sheets, used clothing stores, Youngstown gas station. A lady had to clear out and warn at Dr. Rapika's office. She went in and yelled at some officers or agents that were mean to me. And somebody showed up this last year and said, were they really here? And they're like, yeah, they were here. They were yelling at him in the back room to get him out front. And you can go to Belden's tape about March of 19. There's malls packed. People staring at me, following me around. People stating they're there for me. The lady that went to Rapika's office out in Warren's there with a brown hair, bearded guy, were coming back from where there's Dick's to where the jewelry stores are, around the other side of the kiosk. And he's like, she's amazing. I could write a bestseller on what happened. I'd call it Karen's Prayers. Paid off dirty agents, a man trying to kill his wife, and then being shot at running. She's like, she is amazing, and I'd like her to speak when this is over. And they're talking in the mall, and they should have tape and audio of it. They probably even have a video of it. Everything. So, I mean, even the daytime nurses at Mercy Medical, I took my new client there about a month ago. They're in the back laughing. Boy, we know they drugged her and told her to say it before. Everybody knows. 1295 Fairlawn Middle Apartment, little white lady screamed at him right before May 25th. The church people weren't funny, breaking in before, drugging me, telling me to say weirdo stuff. May 25th, Louisville. Crew was talking about from my old client, and he told Jim and Brian, my neighbors, that he heard it and it was too dark for him. And I got them taped with their permission. 8:15 at night, the car, because everything's bugged. Did you know he fentanyl her and told her to say it before? No, we just didn't know. They already knew the kids were lying, so they thought they'd make a buck off a roofie. 8-9 first thing in the morning, the building foreman, second one to the fence. Their family still lives here. First came out laughing. She finally figured out it was Dave. And that drugged her before and told her to say it. Well, a guy with a badge showed up, and they took him around the corner, said it loud enough for both parking lots to hear. Yes, they did drug her and tell her to say it before. Let's see. Oh, God. Who else knows? October 5th, Huntington Bank, about 1:53 p.m. I go in. Lady follows in behind me. I don't want Melissa getting any money out of this. That's okay. They knew they made everything up. They just didn't want anybody to help her. Right in front of my client, too. Tape and audio. Huntington Bank, Cleveland Avenue. Let's see. Plato's Closet, like November 9th. I have the time. I can write it. I wrote it down. Like 2 to 2:45. They're in there mocking me. They gave her those amnesia drugs they'll never remember. I go into Menors after that, clothing. Some lady comes in, I told these boys to stop saying stuff to her. I found out they made everything up. So none of this is funny. Yeah, and they did interview my whole family. I never hurt anyone. And they think it's funny hurting their victim over and over and over again. And nobody has enough integrity to stop them. My friend from the prosecutor's office is going to call a detective and see if they'll help. If not, they need to call the FBI. And they already know what's going on, and they will come down and take care of this. It's a hate crime on an ungodly level. Yeah. You can't break in and stab some lady with a needle and tell her to say something stupid. You can't have her ex-husband that's trying to have her murdered do it, or their church people to frame her. And the police can't help out because he's found some whore in the store in Ravenna, her mother bragging they did all this for her. And then a bunch of other whores that were connected there trying to get, bragging they steal everything I have in life. If you go to Mark's on Cleveland Avenue, it should be between March and April of this year. The second set of parents that bragged they were going to steal everything I had in life, and for one of their whores too, are in there. Honey, I don't want to hurt all this. Oh, it won't hurt, honey. I'm like, bitch, it hurts to have a neural chip. It's been in too long, and it can be taken out. The hospital said if they take that chip and the swelling out, your brain will go back to normal. Now, I've never talked to anybody. No police, no agent, no man, no lady, nobody about anything dirty. You want to go there? Nobody can interview me. I had bruises. Bruises only. And I had bruises before the FBI, and I thought it was from moving wood. Yeah. They can't do this. One of the guys in my church yelled at them before, I don't care who the hell you think you are, you can't do this. No, you can't. Even being illegal surveillance gets thrown out. Conflict of interest, thrown out. They can't even look at it before I called the FBI. They had no, I'm like the Louisville police officer. Don't worry about it. They had no right in your home. No, they didn't. They Photoshop people. Photoshop me in a porn. Then they send it to people. And they have people following me around. Tape before, fuck you, bitch. Screaming stuff at me and my client. I don't know these people. I never talked to anybody. When I talk to Max, just to clarify, everybody's fine. Be pretty rotten when Melissa said anything bad about you. Don't worry about it, Karen. You're good to everyone. You're good to the kids. You're good to the grandkids. In front of the real police. Then they went and interviewed my whole family so no one could say anything else. And they spoke highly of me on 18. When I was done with Dave. And they caught those kids lying and Melissa telling them to lie in 18. And the toxic water people can go to hell. Like they said on March 13 at Mercy Medical, the only thing they had you on was adjusting yourself. Just simple wiping off water with clothes on. November 27th, FedEx this year. Guy comes in and said, family didn't think anything of her wiping off water with clothes on. They can't figure out why she's not around. Their mother did more in a towel. Okay? Some guy yelled out, we know she did. Jen did the same thing. Actually, she did more. She had her legs apart and pulled her underwear on her crotch. It's not wrong with clothes on to wipe something off, run it. And I didn't, like Rite Aid, April 1st to May 10th, you didn't expose yourself. You're good. Just wipe something straight down off. Then they say, oh, we got you being weird with yourself. I'm like, I'm not weird with myself. And I'm thinking, Photoshop somebody, and they were talking Photoshop porn. Put somebody else's body on it. And I'm thinking, touch yourself. Shower. Took a shower scene. Came outside and somebody was laughing. She figured out what they did. Think of the Pirates of the Caribbean. They can have people turn into skeletons, turn back into men. They can stab them. And they come back to life. It's that kind of crazy crap. Right computer, right software. You can Photoshop anything. They had no right in my home. A couple weeks ago, about 8 o'clock at night, some guys were walking by. I didn't think about what we did before. Can you raise my part? I had bruises. They said they were abusing me. Some guy said they were choking me. And some guy said, uh, excuse me, some other kid said that it was sick what stuff they were doing to me. They thought it was funny to stab an innocent woman or sleep and abuse her. They're satanic. Now, optical center, after that, I called the FBI. There's a white guy, 50, black hair, dark eyes, black glasses, comes and sits next to me. It's me and my men that question you tonight. That's why you have bruises. I walk off like, who the hell are you? He showed up. No, that's before April of 19. That'll be Maslin Walmart Optical Center or Canton Optical Center. Okay? He shows up here in Maslin, Louisville. Louisville, McDonald's, and act like he raped me. You better not have. You can't break in somebody's house, stab them with a needle, and tell them to say something stupid. You can't tape them unaware in their home. Not be police and hire, and it's significant like drugs and murder. Espionage. It has to be something super bad, because it gets thrown out. Even the FBI can't surveillance you unless it's underneath that without a conflict of interest. And if there's a conflict of interest, it's thrown out. They can't look at it. My brother had home surveillance cameras inside because my nephew is extremely handicapped. His caretaker grabbed his remote out of his hand, got in his face, and yelled at him. Well, I can't hardly talk. He's like, whoa, and he shoved him. Well, that poor baby had to go to jail for 2 months for shoving him. And he tried to show the judge what happened on his home surveillance. He couldn't look at it. Why? Because it wasn't police and hire significant investigation without a conflict of interest. It was inside the house. All the tapes I have come straight from the case. The Maslin police would give it to you. Some guy laughed at me and said, for little tapes to make her feel better. She can have them. We have ours. They were taping along with me. Yeah. Trust no man. You can tape a conversation. You can tape a phone call if you're not collecting. But you can't break in somebody's home and watch them. It's illegal surveillance. And you can't tape bathroom, bedrooms, news, and you can't have a conflict of interest. And no judge out of Portage County can do it for friends and family. And they would have went to the FBI. And they didn't. And nothing was filed. There's no court records against me. Like they made up a case. In front of the Jackson or North Canton Police, Hills and Darrells Road, Liberty House Share. They'll still have it, June of 19. And they're talking about it in the back of the call center. But I'm going to get off here. None of this is funny. I can keep going. I can go through my notes. Time, dates, places, people knowing things. It's not funny. Like I said, if they're not bragging that they drugged and kidnapped me or photoshopped me in stores, a victim of the gunshot night will show up and look at me. Or their family members. It's not funny. This case is swirling around me. And hopefully no one shows up and threatens my life. Now, I have never talked to anybody about anything dirty. So where would you get me taped confessing? And I start at the top and I work my way down. Because they're slow. I'm sorry. I've been in the car a while, been out driving around. I am tired of the onslaught of the hate crime of this occult and these dirty people thinking they're going to make a buck off of their victims. It doesn't work this way. You can't surveillance somebody in their home, not be police and hire, significant investigation. Nobody can talk to me. So where would you get a probable cause? You can't have an investigation without the person accused. You got to find out if someone's lying. I could say my neighbor hit me. And can they go set up camera? No. Why? Do they have to go talk to that neighbor, see if I'm lying? Yes. And say, well, can you prove you weren't around her? Yeah, I was at work. You can watch me on tape and audio. See what I mean? You can't just set up cameras. Let alone while they're trying to murder you, and they said this was all an attorney's idea. Where I was sitting in my car alone, and my car's bugged, and I'm like, it's mop shit, but it's perfect. It's mop shit, but it's perfect. I go in that Save-A-Lot on Whipple in the summer, and it was all the attorney's idea. The whole thing. I just looked at them. People don't like them. Good people, they call them or reprobate bastards, asses. You fucking need to go to jail. People, even children, swear. This is a disgrace of our legal system on levels of Satanism. You would think you're in Nazi Germany. You would not think you're in the United States. It's that bad. Now, I'm tired, and they find sick enjoyment tormenting their victim because they're evil. John said it was angels fighting over my soul. Can you describe it any better? Heaven and hell opening up, fighting back and forth. We had weird lights flashing over our house. And I'm like, John, there's lights. He's like, Mom, it's angels fighting over your soul. And I'm like, I don't mean enough to anybody. He's like, you just don't realize, Mom. It's angels fighting over your soul. The men that used to watch me used to joke, we're Karen's angels. I swear like them. I have a potty mouth. They used to swear at these people and swear about them. I swear like the men that used to watch me. Now, I'm going to go ahead and get off here. But somebody, if they don't want to do their job, they need to give it to an agency that will. The FBI said they will come down and take care of this. They already know what's going on here, and they will. If the police don't want to do their job, this is a police matter. People are admitting to kidnapping me, illegal surveillance. They're admitting to sending out revenge porn where they put the clips together and sending it to people. That's another felony. They're admitting to selling the login to real state and federal cases. That's a big no-no. Yeah, and then drugging me and kidnapping me and neurochipping me and being part of an illegal surgery and kidnapping. There's heinous crimes on horrible levels. Yeah, if the police don't want this big case and stalking harassment, the FBI will come clean it up. I already proved a hate crime. I mean, and everything else. And these people have willingly came forward. And the people have they're admitting to kidnapping. They're admitting to heinous crimes. They almost got away with it till they started bragging. That kind of stuff. And they care. They don't care. They don't think anybody has enough guts to do their job. Well, we drugged her and told her to say something stupid, we get money, right? We stabbed her with her needle in her sleep, right? We had to roofie a drink and tell her to say something stupid. It was funny she didn't know. We had to tell her. We had to leave enough hints. It's real funny, isn't it? Then he defends her in front of the police. And then her whole family defends her. They found the other idiots lying. While they're trying to kill her. It's real funny, isn't it? Maybe if you're Satan possessed. Jeffrey Dahmer. Jim Jones. Charles Manson. That kind of level. Sickness. Anthony Solo. Where do you want to go? Serial murderers, rapist, extortionist. Where do you want to go? David Caress? That burned all those people? Why would you help? Guy already said, we already knew she was a victim of cults drugging her and trying to kill her before. And they want to victimize that victim and say they helped out in it. Some guy said anybody stupid enough to participate in this. Stupid enough. There's life in prison for everything. And they don't care. They don't think nobody has enough guts to stop them. They even mocked the FBI and Manners. Too many crazy people were after, and the FBI had to leave. Like they're Pennywise. Trust me. Like they said, they already know what's going on, and they'll come down and take care of it. If the police don't want to take care of it, they will. Somebody needs to.